Okay, then this is for Workbook 1, Lesson number 25, Dotted Quarter Notes. So we learned about other dotted notes and what the dot does. The dot does, if you need a reminder, it adds 1/2 of the value of the original note. So when you have a half note, you have 2, and when you have 2 and you add a dot, you take half of 2, which is 1, and you add it on to get 3. When you have a whole note worth 4, you add a dot. It takes half of 4, which is 2. Half of 4 is 2. Adds it on to 4 and gets 6. With a quarter note, it's a little bit different, but not really, because you just have number 1. And half of 1 is 1/2. Half of 1 is 1/2. So you know a dotted quarter note equals 1 and 1/2 beats. But you're probably like, that's still really confusing. So, remember what we did earlier with the eighth notes? You can split a quarter note into 2 eighth notes. So we know it's worth 2 eighth notes. And we know dot's worth 1/2, and that 1/8 note is worth 1/2. So you add 1/8 note onto that, and you get a dotted quarter note is equal to 3 eighth notes. 3 eighth notes. So, what does that look like in music? Well, I can draw a note right here. Dot. We have 1/8 note. I'm going to put 2 quarter notes to make this an easy measure. And then I'll draw another one. And then I will draw a quarter note tied to the eighth note, and the eighth note at the end. So, let's look at this rhythm. We have beat 1, because it's a quarter note, and we know this is equal to 3 eighth notes. 1, 2, 3. So we know that's beat 1, so that has to be beat 2. So you draw a little 2, but then that leaves us with just the and. So we have 1, 2, and. So you have 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. So it kind of gives us a thing. 1 and 2 connected, and then you play the and of 2. So that is the and of 2. Then an easy measure. So we can go 1, 2. And then the same thing. 1-2, because 1 beat 1 and 2 are connected. 1, 2, and. And we have an and. And then we have this time measure right here. So we have beat 1 right there. In the quarter note, we have beat 1. And we have beat the beginning of beat 2 right there. And we know they're connected because of the tie. So we have to draw that line connecting them. But that's only half of beat 2, so you have to draw the and of beat 2. But that, if you look at the way that's written, it looks exactly the same as that. That's because it is. Because that quarter note and that eighth note, when they're tied together, is the exact same thing as the dotted quarter note. So dotted quarter note, whichever way is easiest for you to think about it like that, is either worth 3 eighth notes, or it is worth a quarter note tied to an eighth note. Whichever way is easiest for you to think about it. Think about it like that. So 1-2 and 1, 2. So this rhythm we go 1, 2, and 1, 2. 1 and 1 and. And that would be the end of the rhythm. So with that, complete assignment number 25. After you're finished with assignment number 25, go on and complete student assessment number 26. Once you're done, make sure to mark anything you've completed in Google Classroom. I'll grade it when I come around for the workbook check. So, finish that. If you need to rewatch this video, feel free to rewatch this video. If you need to ask me questions, feel free to ask me questions. And once you're finished with lesson 26, move on to lesson number 27.